Start with that.
Well, okay. So basically, we found out that I was pregnant on April 26th of 2018.
I don't know.
I found out the day before I turned 4 weeks pregnant, and I didn't get like morning sickness right away, but when it did, it like hit really bad. Like had to go to the hospital and get IVs and everything, and they eventually prescribed me Zofran that I had to take every day.
Couldn't hold anything down.
Yeah.
At all. And I was like, I think it was one of the mornings I was saying, if you can't hold anything down by like noon, then we'll go to the hospital.
It happened twice. I had to get IVs twice, and then that's when they prescribed the Zofran to me.
And that, it was weird. It lasted like 2-ish months of bad morning sickness, and then like the last couple weeks she got it a little bit again, but between then it
wasn't as bad, but like there were some things that like would definitely like trigger it. I would like be like, what's that smell?
Oh, she could smell my bread. Like if I, not even like toasted bread or
like hamburger buns and stuff.
Yeah. Like she could be in the other room. She would be in the other room. Like, what are you eating? Like, a burger? Yeah, I could smell the bread from here.
I was definitely trying to keep it to myself for as long as I could at work, and yeah. So the first person this was like during the time where I really couldn't keep like water or anything down, and so one of the salesmen was like, why are you drinking 7-Up and eating crackers? Are you pregnant? And I was like, no.
Can't I just be sick?
Yeah, I was like, my stomach just hurts.
Oh, let's talk about how we told people. That's a funny story.
So like I said, we found out on the 26th, and I think that weekend he was going to Colorado Springs for his stepmom's baby shower, and I couldn't go because I had to work that weekend. And so I had a test from previous months, so I wasn't feeling sick or anything. I came home, took a test, didn't think it was going to be positive, and I like took it, and that first blue line shows up right away, and then I looked at it, and slowly peeking through was the second line, and he didn't know that I was taking the pregnancy test.
Enjoying my sandwich. Everything was all good and well.
And so I started shaking, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if this is like a false positive. So I took a picture of the test, and I sent the picture to my cousin Al and my friend Summer, and I said,
why would you tell them first?
I was like, does this look positive? And you had walked in right afterwards. He walked in, and I showed it to him, and he was like, it's barely there, I'm sure you're not pregnant. And on the there's a paper that comes with it. It's like, if it's barely there, it's still a positive answer, but with it being so faint, I thought it was just a false negative. We ate our food, and then we went to Target and bought more tests.
It was like in the movies,
I still have all of them.
We sped over there. Grab that one, this one, grab it, that one. That's like a 3-pack, grab them.
We came back, and they were definitely positive. There was no denying it that time. So my cousin ended up answering later, and he was like, don't worry, it'll be our little secret. And then he told his mom.
It's crazy that they kept it a secret from your mom.
Yeah.
Kayla was having...
Who's Kayla?
Kayla, my stepmother, my dad's wife, had a baby shower for my sister. This was, I think, when she was... How far would that be?
10 months. No, that's 7
She was
months.
10 months. She was 10 months.
Sorry.
She went a month over.
She was like 6 or 7 months. Don't leave that part.
So I went down by myself, intending on at least telling my dad. So I was there for probably, what, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days. So the first day I was just holding everything in, and it was kind of, it was nerve-wracking. I think actually the first day I told Kayla, like, my dad was in the shower. I was like, hey, gotta talk to you. I think she already could tell. I think she told me that she could already tell something was wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you know, Cassandra's pregnant. And she was like, oh my God, that's crazy. How far along? You know, like, how is everything going? Have you seen the doctor yet? You know, all the general questions. I don't want to tell my dad yet. You know, I don't know how he's gonna react. It's always been a thing of like, you know, I had you kids when I was young and don't do the same thing. But the second day that I was there, probably literally like an hour before I left to come back home, they were sitting doing stuff in the nursery or something, and I was just like standing there just thinking about how am I gonna say this? How am I gonna tell him what's going on? Because yeah, the whole time we're in there, he's like, don't have kids yet. You know, you see, we're having a baby. Don't do the same thing, not yet, right? Kayla just looks at me and she's like, just tell him. And he goes, tell me what? And he looks at me and I freeze. I'm just like, he's like, tell me what? I was like, yeah, Cassandra's pregnant. He kind of like, I think he reacted the most shocked out of everybody in my eyes, because he just like sat back in the chair. Like, not really the fact that, you know, I'm having a baby, but just the fact that he's gonna be a grandpa. Like, he was happy after that. And between him and my uncle, I don't know, they're both the same person. Like, well, now it's time to get your stuff together, get a good job or whatever.
We didn't end up telling our moms until Mother's Day.
So we waited till Mother's Day, and we bought them both the same Mother's Day card.
On the front it said the best parents, and then on the inside it said get promoted to grandparents. Surprise, we're expecting.
I should play it.
Yeah.
I should play that. I'm gonna play both the videos.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up. Are you serious? No way.
You get a free Mercedes Benz?
Yep.
Shut up.
Mine.
Let Johnny read it.
What? I want to see.
For real?
Yeah.
For real?
Oh yeah?
Are you serious?
Oh my God!
Is it?
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Let me see. Oh, man.
After that, was it the same day?
We went to my
Yeah,
mom's.
we went to her mom's the same day.
Yeah.
This was from Ange.
Make sure she don't go into the carpet. You don't want to. Please. Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ah!
And basically what we did was we bought our moms 2 cards because we were playing it off as we couldn't agree on the same card, so I picked one and he picked one.
There's one from me and one from her.
Yeah.
And the one from her was the expecting one.
And they basically said the same thing, except my mom cried.
I was like, for real?
And Jay was like, let me see!
For real?
And then Nick was just sitting there.
Or no, he goes, for real?
No, he goes,
For real?
He's like, oh my god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Is it?
And then I know I told my stepmom and my dad before I told my mom. I was really nervous to tell my dad. I didn't know how he was gonna react.
I thought he was gonna kill me.
And I thought he wasn't gonna have like a reaction to it at all.
Because he was planning to kill me.
I told him, and he was like, "Oh, really? Like, congratulations! You're gonna make a great mom," stuff like that. And so that was a relief.
Then we met up with him later. Just a side note, we met up with him when he was in town, and we had lunch.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to say. Her
No.
dad never really
So,
talks to us in general.
Anyone who knows me and my dad knows that we are very similar in personality.
And you don't even talk to
And
each
so we're very awkward around each other for some odd reason.
other. So anyway, he was sitting there and like, why you gotta make me a grandpa right now, man?
I think that was more of the shock factor. Like, I have a child this young, and now I'm gonna have a grandchild. My due date was on January 4th of 2019, and everyone pretty much thought that she was gonna come early. Like, I thought I was gonna have her at least by the end of the year of last year. I went to the doctors on my due date, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not ready." I was like, went home angry, like I just want her out already. And I remember that night, every time he would make me laugh, it caused a contraction, but I didn't know it was a contraction. You went to work, and I was laying in the room on the bed.
So I went to work. She texted me like maybe 9 in the morning or something, saying like, you know, it almost feels like this is it right now.
I said, "You need to come home. I think my water broke."
And then like, as soon as she texted me, I ran up to everybody. I was like, "It's happening, you guys! It's happening!"
What did you think when I texted you that?
My stomach dropped. Like, it's weird because for like 9 months, your life doesn't really change. Nothing, it's not very different really. Not at least for the guy, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, once that text came, like, "Hey, I think my water broke." Like, this could go down really fast.
Yeah.
I rushed over here. Her mom showed up. She followed us to the hospital.
And then I think either you called your mom or I called your mom, and I was like, "Hey, we're going to the hospital. I think my water broke. I don't know." So we got there, and they checked me. They're like, "No, your water didn't break, but we'll keep you for a couple of hours to see what happens." And at the most, I was only like half a centimeter dilated. So they sent me home, and they're like, if you get worse, come back. When we had gotten here, after they sent us home from the hospital, it was me, him, and his brother Nick. We were watching Austin Powers, and I couldn't watch it because every time I laughed, I would have a contraction.
We waited like an hour
Mm-hmm.
after we got here.
That we waited the duration of Austin Powers.
She's a trooper. She went through all of Austin Powers. She's like, ah!
So we get back to the hospital, and where we delivered the baby, or where we had the baby, the doctors at the different locations at Kaiser's, they rotate. And luckily, my doctor rotated onto the night shift.
Yeah, so we were there for a couple hours, and then her doctor from Kaiser came. Because personally, we felt like the other doctors just...
They were just like...
passive.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, this is normal. Just hang out. we can't do anything, just hang
But-
out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked if we wanted to just go home and see how it went through the night. Well,
Yeah.
that's when her doctor came in and was like, you know, you're not dilating, but we see you're in pain, so
She's like,
Stay the night.
we're gonna give you morphine and help you to relax to see if it helps you progress at all. I won't forget the look in your eyes, because like I was looking up at you when I got the shot, and I was like streaming tears down my face, and you just like looked really helpless and everything.
I slept on the
Yeah.
small little hospital couch that was in the room with her,
Yeah.
and I was stress dreaming,
Mhm.
like bad. I did fall asleep because it was a long day.
Mhm.
We were in the hospital for 90% of the day,
Yeah.
and I passed out for maybe an hour or two, and I was like half asleep, half not, so I could hear her just like making noises of uncomfortability and like a little bit of crying.
2:00 in the morning, I wake up, I'm crying. So he goes to get the doctors. She comes in and checks me, and I'm dilated to 2 centimeters. They are starting to go admit me, and I throw up all over the bed right before then. And then the,
And
what is it? Like,
anesthesiologist comes in
and
and they're like, boom, let's get you on a freaking
like the epidural.
epidural.
But I remember like I was having a contraction, I was crying, and they like had him go in front of me, and I had to like put my legs on his knees or something and like crouch down, and they give me the epidural. That was the best thing I've ever had. At this point, you know, he called his mom and his sister. We're trying to get a hold of my mom. No one can reach her.
Took her like an hour or so to get back to us, but
Because-
you know, it's okay because
She had her ringer down because she has the most annoying ringtone in the world, and she had it on when we were at the hospital the first time, and every time it went off I would like yell at her and
so everybody shows up. It's still like
Was
5
Nick-
in the morning. My mom, my sister, and her mom show up. It's about 5 or 6 in the morning, and they get there and they're like, you know, take a nap, sleep. You only got like 2 hours of sleep. And I slept for maybe another hour, woke up and got ready, and talk about the longest day ever. And so for the next
I don't know what time it was, but they checked me
the
again.
next like 8 hours,
Yeah.
right? Both our families are showing up, and the doctors are saying you're not dilating.
I made it to
Um,
5 centimeters, and I wouldn't go past that.
Your contractions are actually like stopping the baby's heartbeat, and we
Mhm.
don't know why.
And I don't remember, so I remember them breaking my water, and the nurse, his name was Carl, he was like, she pooped inside the womb. Yeah. And,
She pooped in her,
and he was
and that
like,
sets the precedent for her whole life.
and he was like, basically, when that happens, the baby's under a lot of stress.
Because they kept asking, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And she would say, like, let's just do the C-section.
Mhm.
It's fine. And they're like, you know what? We're going to wait. They really, really were pushing for her to have a natural birth. A lot.
Mhm.
Almost like they were going to get paid if
It's-
she did a natural
No,
birth.
it's you know, it's the
It's
the last
preferred. I
resort.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. The C-section is last resort. But they eventually administered the Pitocin,
Mhm.
which isn't it supposed
It
to
causes the
cause stronger
contractions to come
contractions.
stronger and faster.
outside the room? They were monitoring the baby's heart rate every half hour, and if it was stable enough, if it never dipped with her contractions, then they would come in and administer Pitocin and try to get it going naturally. But every single 30-minute interval, something happened. Something would happen, the heart rate would dip, or she would have a contraction, it would just like boop, and then come back up.
Yeah, and then I remember they were like, okay, we're gonna wait 30 minutes. If it
30 more
drops
minutes.
any time between now and then, that's it, game over, you're having a C-section.
they administered the Pitocin, and they it dropped like almost a couple minutes in. So then they're like, all right, it's game time. Scariest moment of my life.
Yeah, so
Scariest moment.
they all walk out and
Everybody
start
leaves.
to like wheel me out and take me to the room.
They throw me in scrubs.
And
picture right there.
And I remember like getting wheeled out and like I was trying like not to cry and I like felt like, you know, the knot in my throat, and I remember seeing your sister at the corner of my eye, and like all of our family just like lined up in the hallway, and I was like,
it felt like a concert, like,
so like
they're like, everybody clear out.
I like remember they get me past everyone, and like I let my guards down and I just started crying, and because like having a C-section is a scary thing, and so they like put the bed next to like the surgical bed, and they lift me up and pull me over, and I remember.
So she's awake.
I don't know if you were in the room at this point, but they were like, we're gonna give you the stuff that numbs you. You shouldn't feel anything. And
no.
You
I
weren't
came
there
in
yet?
after when you started getting nauseous.
Okay, so they were like, we're gonna give it to you, and then they were like tests with the clamps or something to see if you feel anything, and I felt it all, and so they gave me even more, and then that's what made me so nauseous, and so they gave me like Zofran or something, because obviously I can't throw up while I'm having a C-section.
So I go back there, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what this room's gonna look like. I don't know what I'm gonna see.
It was very cold.
I walk in. It's a big white room, bright white room, and it's like dead silent. It's creepy. She's laying on this table, and they have it cut off at her head so she can't see what's going on. And they guide me in, and they're like, you're gonna sit at the top of her head and just kind of talk to her, whatever. Trying to talk to her, trying to distract her. And the table's like this wide. This wide?
Yeah.
She's like raised up, and I just see a pool of blood.
I could feel it too.
A pool of blood.
Like dripping.
Dripping onto the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
And then, you know, they're like, okay, you're gonna feel tugging here, because, you know, they're taking out stuff so that they can get to the baby. And
then
we heard her little cry.
her first
and
little cry, and like
I started crying right away.
Stomach drops. Like, wow, this is for real. Right now.
Aw, her little cry.
This moment is the realest.
Yeah.
And they take her over and clean her off and everything, and they're like,
well, I remember when they took her out, I heard her cry, and then they said, oh my god, she's adorable.
yeah.
And then they like
She's
took
all
her
bloody and everything.
and
Say, they asked me if I wanted to see her. I was like, yeah, you know, but you guys told me to stay back here, but I guess. And I walk over, and yep, she's laying there, and it looks like she's trying to cry, but she can't. And I'm just like, this is hitting really hard. This is really real.
what was that like? Because you got to see her more than I did the first few hours, obviously.
It was crazy. It was quiet, and I was just thinking, like, I guess I don't know what I was thinking.
Were you happy, excited, scared?
Yeah, it's like every emotion at once, but you don't display anything. Like, you don't know what to do. It's weird. I turn around to go sit back down on the chair that they gave me, and I can see her cut open. The table's bloody, and she's just like, it's a small incision, and I couldn't see the incision, but I could see all the blood on top of her. It's like a pool. And I'm just like, about to pass out. And they're like, why is he over there? And I was like, you guys told me I could come over here. And they're like, take him back around here. And I was like, yeah, because I'm about to throw up. You guys did this to me.
I remember looking at him, and he had like no color in his face. His eyes were like blank.
I was about to throw up. That stuff kind of really like gets me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it being me. So,
And that's our life.
The baby goes back with him, and I'm
She's getting
awake.
She's getting
obviously
patched up, and
but
so they take the baby in the room, and it's me, Amelia, and the nurse who's doing the measuring and everything, and I'm just thinking like, it's so quiet and it's so crazy because she's laying there under the heat lamp, and I'm just looking at her like, this was the slowest 24 hours of my life, and then it's just like that. She's out, she's farting on my leg, and it was pretty crazy.
So we went from labor and delivery to
the area where you just rehabilitate for a couple days, and then they send you home out of there. Group by group, our families came in, and got to meet her and everything, and we actually had a fast turnaround. We were out of there in probably 2 days.
The worst part, though, after the fact, there was two things. They pushed down on your uterus.
Oh, God. She was, like, crying and screaming, and I was sitting there watching these doctors just, like, it seemed like they found joy in hurting people. They were like, I know it hurts,
does this hurt? I know it hurts, but, like, we need to do it, I don't know if you remember how swollen my legs were.
No, I didn't. I saw your feet. Your feet were pretty big.
My feet were swollen, my legs were swollen, like, I looked, like, the size of my thighs matched the size of, like, my calves. Like, they were very swollen.
Oh, yeah, that's when it was like, alright, good luck. Cassandra was pretty much bedridden the whole time until they let us go. So the first night, they were kind of like, here's all the diapers, here's all the wipes.
The respiratory, remember? They had a monitor.
Yeah. So here's all the diapers, here's all the wipes. Oh, every 2 hours, pretty much, like whether she was awake or not, I woke up to change her diaper, and give her, what is it, like an ounce?
It was 15 millimeters.
15 milliliters of formula. Shout out to my buddy Patrick for bringing me food after I hadn't eaten for about 12 hours.
By the way, all I could have was freaking crackers and ice chips. And I hear this mother over here. The last thing that I ate was the night before I went into labor, like full-blown labor, was Subway. And
she wanted to get pregnant.
Mind him, he goes, well, I haven't eaten since yesterday. And I was like, yeah, me either. And I had a baby.
Hey, you can't cut.
And he, okay, so I hear him, and he's like,
okay, well, think about it.
This is so good. And I have crackers.
Over there, it's my story time. Welcome to Angelo's story time. Yeah, so I didn't eat for like a whole day. So anyway, thank you to Patrick for bringing me a rock bottom burger and fries. That was awesome. Since then, everything's been progressing very well. She's growing. She's going through the stages perfectly and everything. The first month, though, oh my god.
The first couple months were really hard.
I say just the first month. Just the first month of having to wake up every 2 hours.
Like, we did not sleep in our bed for at least 3 months.
We slept on this couch. She slept right here next to us. And we were swapping out pretty much like every other night. Like, I'll wake up with her tonight, you wake up with her tomorrow night. But being new parents without really, like, we freaked out a lot about everything. Like,
Yeah, I had a really hard time.
just everything from, like, why is she making this noise when she's sleeping, you know? Making sure that she was swaddled tight so she didn't get her hands loose or anything. Now look at her. She's sitting up on her own.
She's eating baby food.
Crying. Keeping us up at night still.
Not as much.
Waking up every 4 hours.
I just can't believe it was almost 7 months ago that we had her.
7 months. Just about 7 months now. So that's a very general gist of how the whole thing went. Although Cassandra likes to get into specifics and give you a good backstory about everything.
You're welcome.
Lola was there too. She was helping us out.
She was very scared and concerned when I brought her home.
Oh, she's been guarding her since she came home. She won't let anybody touch her unless she knows them. But okay, I think we're done, huh?
Look.
It's time to go to bed for you.
Say bye. Say bye. I don't know if she's in the shot. Check to see if she's in the shot.
You gotta go down.
Say bye.
Alright, I think that's good, huh?
Wow.